Good morning from the Fort Davis Inn in beautiful Fort Davis, Texas. This is Jason's Texas Adventures, and let's take a drive around Fort Davis, Texas. Had a great night's sleep there at the Fort Davis Inn. So what do you say, let's go take a drive around this beautiful town and go down some of the back roads as well. As you can see, there's some beautiful rock cliffs out in the distance around here. These are the Davis Mountains of West Texas. I love coming out here whenever I get the chance. If you take a right down that road, that's Texas 118 North, and that'll lead you to the Davis Mountains State Park. And that's where I met up with Troy and Angela and Motley from Adventure America, and they took me for one heck of a ride around the Davis Mountains Scenic Loop. Absolutely gorgeous, this terrain out here. Fort Davis is known as the highest town in Texas because it is. Its elevation of 5,050 feet above sea level makes this community almost as high as Denver, Colorado, the mile-high city. And the temperatures out here are much cooler than southeast Texas, I must say. And off to the right here is the Fort Davis National Historic Site. And it's one of the best remaining examples of a U.S. Army fort. It was established in 1854 on the San Antonio-El Paso Road through West Texas. So if you're ever in the area, check out the fort. Alright guys, I'm down one of the back roads here. This is called Cemetery Road, and of course it'll lead you to the cemetery just outside of the town here. Once I make this turn up here, you're going to get a beautiful view of the town and the surrounding mountains as well. I've been having an awesome time out here in West Texas, and I enjoy sharing it with you all. And there, folks, is a beautiful view of the town of Fort Davis right there. It's a little bit overcast right now, but I bet on a clear sunny day it's really gorgeous. I don't mind it being overcast though, it's keeping the temperatures down. It makes it a little easier on the eyes when you drive too. How would you like to have a piece of property out here? And I wouldn't mind living out here one bit myself. But right now my home and my family is in southeast Texas. But one of these days I may get me a piece of property out here in the future. Only time will tell. But in the right now, I'm just enjoying this drive down these back roads. The back roads of Fort Davis, Texas. When I'm out here, I feel closer to God. We are up in the mountains, so I guess technically we're closer to heaven up here. Isn't this view of town pretty cool? I see Sleeping Lion Mountain out there, as well as Blue Mountain out in the distance. And I've learned the names of a lot of these mountains out here by watching my buddy Calvin, RV Living with the Geezer. He's a retired firefighter. Go check his channel out. Yeah, he's lived out here in Fort Davis, and he has many videos from this area. So check his channel out. And I got to meet up with Calvin over at the Marfa Lights Festival last year. I also met up with Kevin from Hiking with Jackie Boy and Joanne. Yep, some great times and great memories made out here. And of course, great people. There's some cars coming. I guess this is the early morning traffic here in Fort Davis, if you want to call it that. Yep, this isn't the concrete jungle of Houston. Definitely a different world out here. And in Fort Davis, if you're looking for a Walmart or a McDonald's or a Target, you won't find it here. What you will find here is a lot of family-owned businesses. And even some of the back roads are unpaved out here too. It's like going back in time. I often think about all the travelers and pioneers that went through here back in the day, before paved roads, and the hardships they had, and what they had to encounter on the way out here. It's a much different world today. As far as wildlife on my trip so far out here, I did see a buck cross Highway 90 when I was leaving Sanderson, but unfortunately I did not have my camera on at the time. I also heard coyotes howling at night when I stayed at the Desert Air Motel in Sanderson, and Troy from Adventure America showed me a picture he took of some Aoudad sheep over at the state park around here. So whenever you come out here, it's almost a guarantee that you'll see some type of wildlife. Be careful though, and watch out for rattlesnakes and javelinas, because they're out here. Another thing you gotta keep your eye on is your fuel tank. Make sure to top off your fuel in towns out here, because the towns are few and far between. And I'd recommend having snacks, food to eat, and plenty of water to drink as well. It's always better to be prepared, and expect the unexpected when you come out here too. Let's take a little drive down the main drag here. And as you can see, not much traffic here in this quiet little West Texas town. They've got a lot of places to stay here in town as well. Last year I stayed at the Butterfield Inn. Check that video out. And speaking of Butterfield Inn, there it is up ahead on the right. And they have different themed cottages you can stay in. Mine was the southwestern themed. Off to the left is the historic Hotel Olympia. And off to the right behind those trees is the beautiful courthouse, the Jeff Davis County Courthouse. Well guys, let's go down some more back roads here in the town of Fort Davis. Gonna take a right here. And what do you say, let's go down some unpaved roads. Going down one of the unpaved roads right now, and straight ahead is Sleeping Lion Mountain, one of my favorites. I love going down these unpaved roads. It's like going back in time, traveling back in the day when there was horses and wagons going down the road. Think about what life was like back in the day. I'll drive down here a little ways, get y'all a close-up of Sleeping Lion Mountain up ahead. beautiful rock cliffs up there. And those boulders are definitely Texas sized. And there's a beautiful church right in front of that mountain too. Gorgeous. I gotta stop a minute and take a photo of this. Yep, definitely worthy of a photo. And I tell you, there are many mountains and many areas out here worthy of a photo. And at sunset and sunrise, looks like a painting. There's definitely some nice homes back here. And the nights out here are so quiet. Hope y'all are enjoying this drive down the back roads of Fort Davis, Texas. Back roads in small towns. The sky's starting to get a little more overcast. They've been getting some recent rains out here, and everything is so green, even out in the more desert areas out here. I'm sure all the desert plants and wildlife appreciate the rain out here too. Another thing I've noticed with the elevation in the mountains out here is that sometimes you'll get these clouds and they'll be hung up on the mountains. So I thought that was something kind of interesting and different. That's another thing you don't see back in Houston, because there's no mountains in Houston, Texas, y'all. So even with all the rain and clouds out here, it's still been a great time. I was able to see quite a few stars when I stayed overnight in Sanderson. And the stars out here are absolutely amazing and unforgettable. And I'll never forget the time I saw the Milky Way for the first time. I was near Marfa, Texas a couple years ago when I saw it. A lot of great memories and good times out here that I'll never ever forget. Maybe one of the greatest is when I was riding with my mom and dad when I was younger, and they took me to the Chisos Mountains area of Big Bend National Park. And that's where we saw a Mexican black bear. Alright guys, back on Texas Highway 118 heading back to the Fort Davis Inn. I just wanted to take y'all on a little tour of this beautiful town out here in West Texas, and take y'all down some of the back roads and talk to y'all about some of the great memories I've had out here and some of the great people I've met along the way. Lots of good times and lots of good memories that I'll never ever forget. So if you ever come out to West Texas, I definitely recommend paying a visit to Fort Davis, Texas. Lots of history, lots of beautiful scenery out here. Gonna take a right here on Texas 17 and gonna wind up back where I started the video at, the Fort Davis Inn. So guys, from beautiful Fort Davis, Texas, thank you all for watching, and And if you ever get a chance to, make it out to West Texas and visit Fort Davis. This has been quite a journey out here already, and the West Texas adventure continues. Thanks for watching, everybody.